good sense for me. And what else in there? Not what else, and I go looking around. Within that field of beauty, what else is here? And beauty and what? And after a little bit, the heretofore not so obvious inherent power, I think we call it, inherent partner, begins to, I don't know, talk, show itself. You begin to get a sense of something. Easy, don't jump the gun. Easy, till it's also there full bore. So you got beauty and, I don't know, stability and beauty, whatever. Did I say that? Oh, okay. So for me, that's how I kind of do it. It's inherent in the first quality, its own partner. So inherent in that first one is its partner. So I use and then I'm open. Nice quality I'm experiencing, and inferring what's the not so obvious partner to this. So that's that's a key word that I use there. And I'm open for it to begin to show. Okay? Yeah? Did I say that all right? Before we move on, anything else on qualities that you want to check? Nothing? Zilch? Okay. Let's move on to tonight. And what was the write-up, Lauren?
2 beats of creation.
2 beats of creation. Okay. Very important. Okay. Let me read. I think it's better for me to read it and try to remember. Here's what I wrote a little bit ago. In the beginning, the great everything, whatever that means to you, the great everything, whatever the word, decides, whatever that means, to create. Okay? So in this great everything deciding to create, there's some kind of beat there. We could go at it as a beat into the center, and then it rebeats back out, or vice versa. Boom to boom, bang. So whichever way you sense it. But this first establishment of the beginnings of creation, whether you do circle to center to circle, whatever. Okay, so there's a beat, rebeat pattern that starts in the beginning. Okay. Okay, hang on. Okay. Then from the beginning there, it starts a vortex. So from the finer, more original, I don't know, call it size for right now, the finer original purity, perfection, whatever of it, it starts the vortex. Now we use kind of 2 words there. One, there's a sense of smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to the human level or something. That's okay. And at the same time, we're saying, no, this vortex is just moving into the next heavier dimension, continues the beat into the next heavier dimension. So you have a vortex. Okay. That's dimensionality, finer dimension to heavier dimension. Okay. And in that process, the 2 beats are still going on. Okay. So now even down to the human level, let's say, it's a heavier than the original, finer, but the 2 beats are still there. That's I don't know, a forever pattern, 2 beats. From its inception, when it started as a 2 beat, It continues all the way down into heavier dimensions, still two beating. Whew. Are you following me? Am I saying this okay so far? Huh? Steve, your mouth is agape. Are you okay?
No, no, I'm fine. I'm taking notes.
Oh, okay. We're okay so far. We continue with reading. Okay, so two beats all along the way. Now, here we are in the human condition level. And all the major pieces that make up that creation, the character to the archetype, the qualities, the self, space, everything here, are in that, what should we call it, are in that working or that law. Don't know if those are good words, but they're involved, or they're within that beat. Okay so far. Once we get some sense experience that we have then we have a fairly simple vehicle for dimensional travel. If this two beat at the heavier, if we catch this two beat easy, the two beat will move us into the next dimension. So if Bobby, or my 1x1 level, can remember to check in on his two beat will move into an opening into the next level. So it's Bobby to Robert, or a 1x1 to a 2x2 set, or a bad day set to a fair day set. And that pattern can take you back from this heavier that we're in, take you back as a travel vehicle to the more original perfection of you, perfection of everything, that it's the return journey back, using the two beat as a reference to do the traveling with. Did that come out right?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Then let's shift to, let's use birth as an example. Here we are in a human condition. Now, the two beats in terms of a birth have started much earlier. They started at conception, let's say, or even earlier, whatever. They had, he and she had an idea to breed, okay? Whatever. But now we get the actual baby being born, okay? Human condition, baby being born. Now, seems to me, what's the first thing that they do? They have to make sure that that brand new baby, still dripping wet and whatever, is breathing, right? They got to get it breathing. There's in a certain way, the first human replay of the two beat, inhale, exhale. You got to get that brand new baby, make sure that two beat is there. How do they recognize it? He starts to breathe. If he was looking a little bluish before, he's starting to look pink. He's starting to come more alive. He makes a sound. Whoa, whatever. Okay, so the two beat is starting right there. Okay, so could we say that's the first, in a certain way, that's the first two beat of a human being? Okay, the breathing or the breath beats. Okay, and again, we know the breathing is a popular form of two beating. It's an ancient form of, meditation or whatever. It's a good one. It's an important one. It's a basic one. It's not the only one, though. Okay, right? Are we okay so far? You okay with the baby being born, breathing?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay. Let's continue with the baby for a bit. So, okay, now he's breathing and more alive. And then kind of look at some of the things we do. We rock the baby. Are we not introducing it to a little bit more level of 2 beats? Look at the old-fashioned cradles. They were all basically a cradle, where we, again, inferring a 2 beat, and within the 2 beat, it's okay to be there sleeping, and you'll grow even as you're sleeping because of this 2 beat that's there. Okay. A little bit older, you take the baby and sort of not necessarily throw it up in the air, but hey, and it comes down and you're laughing. All right. You're saying, this is great. You're introducing another 2 beat, an up and down beat, or down and up beat, whatever. Okay. And you're introducing that as being a lot of fun. You see, when you catch this 2 beat little baby, how happy we all are. I laugh, and then you begin to laugh, and you love this hey ho game we're playing. And it continues. After a while, the little kid is older now. He goes to the park, and he's got his little kid swing back and forth and back and forth. And in that 2 beat, there's some kind of development. Oh, we could be heavy and stupid and say, yes, he's developing his leg muscles. He's reaching with his legs on the swing. Yes. Yeah, that's all true. That's all true. But let's get to the nitty-gritty of things here. He's developing because of the 2 beat of things. The character, the child is developing as a 6-year-old or whatever he is. Okay. And then it goes on. They have the older kid swings that really went boom and boom. I remember those. I love those. Could swing so big, you suddenly got scared. You twirl all around and anyway, and on and on and on. Okay. Are we okay with the baby's upbringing with the 2 beat? I mentioned this to Susan, and she said, oh, also and Susan's hot lately on communication. She's sort of majoring in that as a quality development. Anyway, and she said, yeah, the baby kind of can't quite yet talk, but it murmured something, or whatever. And you hear it, and then you say back, if you're the father, you say, Daddy. And the baby coos or whatever, and you go, yeah, Daddy. So you're listening and talking back and listening and talking back, hoping that the child gets to this level where it can repeat, oh, Daddy or Mommy, or whatever. So that's another 2 beat, talking and listening, talking.
Sensei, we've lost you. You've frozen?
Okay, sorry, lost the picture there for a moment.
Okay, we were in conversation with the infant, listening and talking back. Is everybody else still live?
Yeah, I think Nato's picture is frozen there.
Right. Okay. Stand by.
Hold on. Sorry. Let's not.
So
they're going to work with it on their side for a moment or two, Lauren.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. I should have a slide that says, due to circumstances beyond our control, please stand by due to technical difficulties.
The audio version of that is pretty good, actually, that you just gave.
Yes, when I grew up, television would have that, and they would throw a test signal or a card on screen, stand by.
Lauren, you're not that old that you can remember that.
I believe we're almost the same age, teacher.
Late 20s, you mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
This is where we tap dance.
Well, I would comment for just a minute while they're getting that together until Sensei comes back.
Please.
Um, as we're kind of looking at that, of course, for me as a musician, I'm thinking rhythm. Rhythm is a part of everything. The breath is a rhythm, and rhythms are patterns in nature. So it's pretty cool. So Nadeau was recognizing the breath as one of the first and major
He's talking.
things.
Are we on mute or something?
Yeah.
I'm talking, Sensei. I just was giving my impression of your teaching just now.
And Brad, your camera is still off. We hear you, but your camera's off. I think he disappeared. Okay, well, keep going, Tija.
Well, it's essentially that in the what Nadeau calls the two beats of creation, such a beautiful way of describing the elementary patterns that arise out of the one comes the two. And I mean, that's the way the Taoists see it. That's the way Buddhists see it. The grand picture is that's the pattern that arises out of the one. So it's interesting in that way, isn't it? That we have a pattern that for Sensei, he works with it in such a way that if you want to have this as what he calls a travel vehicle, if you want to have it as a travel vehicle, you experience the fullness of those beats at any particular level. What he would say, and he says, that his Bobby must experience a relative fullness of those two beats of the qualities that are present for him as a Bobby in order to come to the Robert. So, and it's the same for us too. Obviously, the connection of two beats allows for an experience of the fullness, or what I would call a relative fullness of connecting with some aspect of our being.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's what you there, Sensei?
Not quite.
Or was that
Yes,
Jason?
I'm back on. Can you central
Yes,
me?
yes, we're back. Yeah, we can see you and hear you.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
What was Tisha saying? So I can catch up.
I was talking about the two beats and how you use them as a travel vehicle at any particular level. So I was using your example of saying a relative fullness of your Bobby is essential before you move to a Robert. So the two beats act as a way of allowing a greater wholeness, a greater fullness of the experience of what you have without at any particular level before you try to go on to another one.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you were right as we lost signal.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you see, again, that same old problem of being aware of and mentally sort of understanding. But this lower part, this body character part is very important. So in a two beat, okay, let's go over this. You get a two beat and the balance point, can we just call it temporarily? The harmony of your two beat, okay? And there's in some form, a nice feeling there. It could be peaceful, it could be nice, whatever, okay? So there's that harmony of the two beat, okay? But now it's critical, okay, to go a little bit deeper in there. And I use the question, okay, at this level, who am I? And I let it, for lack of words, mix up the character, who I am. Okay. Yeah. So if, let's say, nicer was the balanced harmony of the two beats. But yes, but who am I? And of course, I'm a nice guy. Yes, of course. Well, let's go deeper than that. Who am I? Of course, you're a nice guy. And who are you? Feel yourself. Who are you? You're a character. Feel yourself. Feel yourself. And it's changing now from nice guy to a little more accepting of the world, a little more open to the world. Okay. So here's a character that's more open to the world. If we were in communications, I could hear what's being said to me better and maybe hopefully retort better. So I'm a character now. Okay. All right. Right. So the two beats harmony, let's say, and whatever you feel there's cool, but don't stop. Who are you, or who am I? Not as an I. Let me think about it. Let's see. I don't mean that. I mean this, as Teja was saying, this fullness of the character, and the character will have a sense of things without just having that mental up there sense of things. We need the body. We need the character. Character is an ongoing through this whole trip. Okay, we character and finer Bobby Robert Nadeau is what my historical layout for a better level character. Okay, and then we move into finer after a while. And we bring up the term archetype. It's still your characters, archetype characters, but their finer qualities are more obviously present. Oh, am I getting lost? Am I losing you? Where the hell are we here? The criticalness of being the character in there. Okay. Another critical point there is through that harmony center, again, I call it a doorway. There's an opening or a doorway. So the character, and then into the next finer, and you move into the next dimension. And you start the game over again. The beats that are there, okay, and then the whatever, the balance point there, the harmony point there, and who are you as a character there? You're not Robert anymore. You're Nadeau, kind of thing, okay? All right. So it's an ongoing pattern, but very important to get that. Not to be satisfied with just for lack of words, the harmony of things. That's nice, and I could see just hanging out with that because it's really nice. But the game goes on. Okay, so I'm not saying you can hang out there for a while and enjoy it, but if you want to really travel with the trip, if you really want to move along, you got to get to that. Who am I? And the doorway sends to a finer dimension. Did I say that okay? You people okay with this?
Very clear tonight.
Yeah, good. Good, because it's really more than important. It's kind of critical. Okay. Yeah. This feeling of being a character gives everything tangible. Help me here, Teja, because you're so pushing on this. The tangibility of being a character, let me know it's an experience. unfortunately, the mental awareness types will think also they're experiencing it, and they probably are at a certain mental level, but it's not the experience that we're talking about. The actual guy who can walk his talk, so to speak. He doesn't just talk the walk, he walks the talk. Okay, a little bit different.
Yeah, there is, and there is the rhythm. The rhythm is a beat. It's something that's happening. It's not just conceptual.
Yes,
So
yes.
Yeah, the rhythm and of the pattern is a beat.
Yeah.
And that, I think, if anything, that's one of the ways in which working with the two beat becomes experiential and not just a concept about.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Very good. Can you say it again? The difference between the concept of the beat and the beginnings of experiencing in finer dimension, finer sense of experience, the more actual of experience. Can we clarify that for troops anyway here?
I'll give it a try, but it's kind of like the pattern of two beat itself is mimicking the universe in its pulse and its rhythm. That's why I use the word rhythm, because rhythm is actually a pattern. It's a pattern in nature. It's a pattern of nature, just like that first breath that we take and the last breath that we exhale.
Yes.
So
it's a major presence.
Experience.
So everything, and you'll see examples of it in nature.
Yes, everywhere.
Everywhere. Because it's there in the whole creation.
It's a pattern. It's a pattern. Rhythm is a thing. Rhythm is a reality of manifestation. The cycles of the seasons have rhythms. Our breath is a rhythm. Our heartbeat is a rhythm. These are all rhythms. They're all patterns. Not to be, think about them. Yes, fine, but it's as you
not to
misunderstand
that.
Yeah.
That's fine. Think about it for a bit. Mull on it. Sure. Mm-hmm. Read a book about it, but that's not good enough. Now it has to be experienced.
It has to be experienced because what you're talking about is a transformational travel vehicle. You're talking about transforming, and that's a way of moving from the Bobby Robert Nadeau Sensei or 1x2x3x pattern that we are exploring as something genuinely transformational. That's why your book is about transformation. It's not just about Aikido, so.
Hang on a second. Is that him, us? Who is that?
No, it has to come to the computer speakers tonight for whatever reason. Okay. So it's just
no big deal. Just
the lips and sound are in sync right now.
Yeah, the lips and sound are out of sync, but that's okay. Once
we can hear everybody fine.
Yeah, there's no trouble with that. Okay. I just can't read their lips anymore. Okay. Okay, where are we? Okay, the variety. Again, you've heard most of these before, but let's go from here. The variety of two beats. Okay, breathing, we said, was cool one, ancient one. Probably everybody will touch on that one at some time or other. I remember my breathing years. Count to 8, exhale 8, whatever, that kind of stuff. But there are others. Sensei came up with quite a few. He liked up and down or down and up spirals. Okay, just sense a spiral of energy and a spiral of energy. Okay, I liked that one. For me, it was up and down. spirals. And I really developed quite well with that. As the spirals got more, the height and depth factor got more balanced or in harmony, then the character would be a bit better character. So you go from let's say a blue belt character to a brown belt character to a black belt character. And everything is there, not just the idea of it. Up and down and up and down. I should be a black belt. We can't just do this mental half. That's a piece. But this fullness experiential is also critical. You just can't do this half mind thing and really do the trip, the developmental trip. It needs all the parts. So you can't just take half of a part and expect to get there. In your own mind, you might be godlike, but you're also bullshit and ain't nothing happening except in your own mind. Yeah. There's got to be some experience, some feeling. When O-sensei stood there, you knew somebody was standing there. There was very little question, unless you're really dumb and you couldn't see anything. I'm sure a lot of people saw Christ walk down the road and say, don't mind him. He's the carpenter's kid. Now, some people don't have the eyes. Don't worry about those people. But really, anybody with a finer sense of things ought to say, whoa, who is that? Because there's something there. Not an idea, an actual presence that has its own idea about itself. So that awareness mind stuff is fine, but it's not the full picture. It's half the picture. And this experiential half, for lack of words, this body half, this character half, critical. And I keep pounding on that because so many people are just awareness half. Different styles. So spirals up and down, down and up. Oh, since they had some esoteric ones, the fire, water. Okay. Fire inferred one of the beats, its partner, water. So this was a fire, water. As it got more and more balanced, it would be a sense of presence of steam. Okay. All right. So steam would tell you at this level, it's balanced. They're both in agreement with each other. They're equal to each other. Otherwise, you can't get steam. If you get too much fire, it burns the water away. If you get too much water, it drowns the fire. So it just infers a balance point, could I say? Okay. Now, again, the piece that a lot of people will miss is, okay, however to say this, in the steam or through the steam, who am I at this level? Who am I the character at this level? Okay. And you hang out as that character and experience it again. And remember that same point is a doorway to the next size, more space, more room, the next dimension. And then we continue at that level, fire, water, water, fire, steam, steam, steam. We continue. So it's a potential, after a bit, pretty fast and smooth journey through the dimensional to the finer, more original. Okay, where the hell are we up to this point? Did I say that? Okay.
Sensei, this is Lauren. You've just explained in a new way for me Shinkoku, the traditional Sensei's traditional, exercise often at the beginning of class, involving both the jewel shaking motion that you just showed, as well as the rowing exercise, and it culminates, if you will, in a stretch up, down, and then a compression ki.
Yeah.
Which I now, in your words, that's the doorway right there. And
Yeah.
I didn't have the words for it before, but I've always felt that, or been taught that, that sense as you step through that doorway, that's where the Aikido starts. That's where you start your practice,
Yeah. And in there, sounds like Sensei showed if he was doing those close together, uh, 4 different patterns.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's one pattern, steams.
Mhm.
Here's another pattern, it's the rowing back and forth
Right.
pattern.
Right.
But again, you can get to a certain level of, gee, this feels good. I feel stronger, or something to let you know they're in harmony. The force going out feels equal to the force coming back, and the force going back feels equal to the force going out. Again, there's that harmony or balance there.
Yes.
There. Now, there. Don't be satisfied with just that. Oh, I'm stronger. Yes, of course. But continue with this now. Who am I? Okay. And experience yourself character at that level, and then be prepared to move into the next dimension of that. And you continue with the rowing at the next dimension.
Yes.
Same pattern. Okay.
Yes.
And then this in and out, I don't know that. I mean,
Yep.
that one. The same thing. All these energies we're back to how I laid out the origin of this. Everything from out comes in and boom, goes back out, or vice versa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The Boken swinging up and down. See, everyone gets caught up in hitting things harder, hitting them faster. And yeah, that'll naturally happen. But the inner work here, once they feel like they're in harmony, the up and the down, the down flavor of, for me, I use sort of an energy sense of how much energy is coming down. If it's 20 pounds coming down, I should have like a sense of 20 pounds coming up, 20 pounds coming down to get that balance again, for lack of words. Then again, who am I? And the obvious is, well, I'm a sword swinger or a boken swinger. Yes, that's obvious, but let's go a little deeper than that. Who am I here? And you get a bigger sense of things other than just being a stick swinger. And on and on and on. Okay, what else we got here? Breathing out and Aikido techniques. We have a simple basic is receptive positive. Again, a lot of people get caught up in doing the technique. And it's like, yeah, but that's not really the purpose. That's our reference. But the purpose is to get a harmony of receptive and positive till they feel like the same size field, or they have the same amount of weight to them. 20-pound receptive guy, 20 pounds positive guy. Okay. Then we should stop after a few minutes of training there and go, who am I here? Okay. And get past the first thing. I'm the receptive positive guy. It's like, yes, of course you are. But really, who are you really? Let's go a little bit deeper there. And you'll experience the next finer character you. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes in using, what is those things they call that? A form? No, I forget. But in presenting a form, which we probably all need to get going here on this, you suddenly make the form out there, the God. And it's like, no, it's I don't know what to say, a reference, but this inner experience is going to be God-like. This is the trip. This is just something to help me register. Running out of words here. Let me see. Go over basics. Chanting. Okay. So we did Sensei's Mami Mu Memo Ya Yu Ya Yo. Okay. We could always do short versions of whatever. We could say Ah is from the center out, and Oh heard everything Ah had to say, and it's returning back with its version of it. Oh, Ah heard that, was touched by that. Ah the he and the she are having a conversation here. When they can come to an agreement right there, now, who am I? Okay. It's like, well, I'm the guy at chance. Yeah, yes. But Jesus, let's go deeper than that. Who are you really? Let's go finer. Okay. Remember, that's a doorway to the next dimension of O and Ah and Ah and O. So it's using the two beats to move along dimensionally finer, experientially present in the middle of all of this. Hang on a moment. Let's see. Anyway, I wrote here, big letters. Too often the character experience is missed or not emphasized. People get very happy with the harmony or the balance place there. It's nice. It's nice. Mm-hmm. Is Ross on tonight? No?
No.
Okay. So I have to talk about him anyway. So sometime back, we're playing with beats, and he reached a nice level, and he said, "Oh, it's nice." And I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm the nice guy." And it's like, of course, but I didn't mean that level. Of course, if it's nice, then you're yes, but a little finer than that, a little deeper, finer. Who are you? Okay, it goes beyond nice guy. Who are you? And it's also a doorway which brings you to the next level. Next level, let's use a dumb example. More room, finer energy qualities there. And you could be the very nice person. Okay, so from nice to very nice to, and the words would change there from nice to something else. Loving of all God's creation. I don't know. Anyway, where the hell are we here? Just the variety and all the physical things. The golfer, dot to dot. It's a harmony check. But most of the golfers get caught up in, I'm going to hit that ball further. And they're also busy out there. They forget that this is really a game to help you get inner. And if you get better the inner, that's when the golf champions start to appear. Okay, because they get the inner stuff going. So, of course, their natural functioning outer is better. Okay. But not because they're going to hit it harder. Where's the balance practice there? Even though it's there with the back and the forth, they don't catch it. But again, it doesn't have to be physical. It could be your job. They offer you the next level up, let's say, where there's more responsibility in this job. And at first they're like, whoa, wow, whatever. Because that is touching this. And can this character rise to the occasion or intake the energies to be the character who is comfortable with that level job? Okay, so it doesn't all have to be physical. It could be, how are you with your family? And boom from your family, boom from you as the head of your family or the mommy of your family or whatever. So we don't have to relegate this just to the physical moves. Okay. It's open for anything and everything. I need a break here. Talk to me. Did I confuse you along the way? Anything interesting? Observations, insights, questions, problems? Hello out there in the world.
Sensei, I just had something that I was remembering when you said, when you were talking about golfing, you were talking about the inner game.
Oh, yeah.
The inner game?
Inner game of golf, yeah.
But I think one of your students wrote a book on the inner game of tennis back in the day, maybe in the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah. If it
And
wasn't
so,
my student, it was somebody who was around in the Esalen days. So they may have
yeah,
brought, but I don't recall
yeah.
exactly. But there was the inner skiing. That was one of my students.
Yeah, inner skiing. But just to think that that's kind of revolutionary in itself, to think, well, it's not just about getting the ball down the driveway or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I'm not a golfist, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's not just about getting it down there. When the way that you said, which I really appreciated, that's when the real champions start to appear. They're working on another whole level. And I
Yeah.
think that's what is available to us
Yeah.
in doing the kind of working with the two beats and working with these various travel vehicles. We can deepen our creativity. We can deepen our spiritual experience.
Yeah. Hold it right there. That's cool. Cool. Yeah. So if you're not interested in finer spiritual beingness, what we're laying out here is useful for just functioning in daily life, right? Back to what TJ was saying. You want to play better golf? Hey, okay, settle and open. I'll teach you a couple of tricks. You get to a little better level, and lo and behold, your golfing will be better. I played with Michael Murphy, who wrote Golf in the Kingdom, which was kind of an inner spiritual experience book on golf or something. And so we went out to the driving range, and I did a certain pattern with him to stop him from hitting the ball and whatever. And he'd been golfing for years and years. He loved golf, right? That was his thing. But I got him to a place where he caught on to what I was trying to present, and he hit a bucket of balls straight away, everyone, and pretty far. At the end of it, he looked at me and said he'd never, in all of his years, ever hit a full bucket of balls straight away. Little momentary magic there.
There you go. That's exactly exactly.
Tisha, what is that book, Inner Game of Tennis? As Bob was talking, I thought of the exact same book because I remembered the example the tennis player used of his opponent, and they were asking, is this guy tough for you? Is he a real challenge? He said, no, this guy's a thing of beauty. I appreciate it. And it was, that we're part of that two beat. I mean, he didn't say it that way, but we're part of that two beat. And I never forgot that from that book.
Yeah, it was a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Greenfield or something like that. I'll have to look up the name of that person, but yes, the relationship.
His name was Timothy Galway. There's the book.
Yeah, that sounds.
Oh, there you go, Galway.
Yeah.
He also wrote one on golf too.
The librarian. Yeah. So
didn't Sensei hit a hole-in-one his first time onto a golf course?
Yeah. A story that's really not known. I mentioned it to Prinnan, who was the historian, and he had an Aikido newspaper or something, he used to write magazine. And he didn't want to hear about this at first because it would have his ideas about how Aikido developed and weren't quite Sensei's ideas, could I say? And he sort of didn't want to hear this, but he, being a sort of a reporter, he did eventually check. The guy who had been with Sensei on the golf course was dead, but his son was alive. He interviewed him, and his son laid that same story out that see what that to that. Anyway, what Sensei told me, I'll cut it short, was in doing his process, And he didn't do his biggest, bestest, finest process, not for a golf course. Okay. But he did his process to some degree. Hole in one. And he said to me, what else could it be? So you get your process down right, and these things can happen. So what else could it be? So again, a little more advanced level people, but yes. Yeah. I mean, you can imagine a Christ, whatever, turning water into wine or something. Yeah. You couldn't imagine a screw up where it suddenly was icky vinegar or something. You know, what else could it be but pretty damn good tasting wine? You know, come on, you're dealing with the big boys here. Big boys mean inner, finer presence development, showing that here in the heavies. So, of course, they look so different and stuff. They're from finer in the heavies. Yeah, but we can get to finer. That's all this shit is about. And again, whatever level you just want to get a little bit finer to play a better game of golf, I'm okay with you guys. That's why I used to teach golf. I did a little bit of teaching with that, with Michael Murphy and a couple others. No, I never gave a shit about their golf game, but if I could get them to settle and open and ground, center naturally, and if they found, whoa, you know, yeah, I'm getting a feeling here, and their golfing was better, then they enjoyed that process to get to a level where their stroking was better. I was happy. Not a fantastic jump. They're not suddenly spiritual greats, but they got to a little better level. They weren't Bobby on the golf course anymore. They were Roberts heading with the possibility to be a Nadeau on the golf course or whatever. So I would teach some of this dumb shit. Because the process was important. And if they could catch the simplicity of a process and function a bit better, potentially, for lack of word, hook them. Or they had, yeah, words. Okay, where are we? Form and flow. Baby stuff. I don't have a good word for, let's say you're a little bit down, you're tired, you're in the doldrums. Okay, we've all been there. Just to remember to get the 2 beat going. Okay. Yeah, it's going there a bit because you're still alive and you can sort of tie your shoes and maybe you can make it to the door before you collapse, you know. But you're saying, if you can remember the 2 beat, boom, in whatever form you're going to use it, in and out. And then we refer to sort of a core type here with this at first, in and out. And a word that came up to me a couple of months ago or something was kind of like a battery, that I've got a small battery, and when I go in and out, the battery starts to ignite, come alive, and I've got that battery's energy force, okay? But if I continue the beats, I can get to a bigger battery. So I've got these small batteries in my closet, you know, what sizes? 2A, 3A? What's the flashlight battery?
C's.
C's?
These are
Okay.
D's.
Double A, C, and D. The big ones are D.
Okay. And so if you start to pump, you reach your D's. Things start to glow a bit better, okay? Keep the pump going, you hit a 12-volt battery. Boom, you're on. Don't stop, you're on. You got it. You can stop for the day, but come back soon because you've got the beat. You've got the beat. And you're just using an energy core form of checking this out. Did I say that okay? That was kind of important. Did I say it right? Yeah. So try it when you're down a bit or something. Get 2 beats going. Okay. And at first you're just doing it because you wrote it on your wall. If you're down, do 2 beats. Okay. So at first, seemingly nothing. Seemingly nothing, but you hang in there. Then you begin to feel a little bit of something, just a little bit of, maybe you're breathing better. Maybe your body starts to straighten a bit better. Won't be much in the first few moments, potentially. But if you're really feeling, you can feel the increments. Just screwing around. I can feel the increments going on right now. More back, the spine is a little more distinct. Okay, boom, that's an increment. I'm getting fuller here. Oops, another one just kicked in. I suddenly feel my feet flatter on the floor. They're actually flat on the floor. I can feel that. Well, they were flat on the floor probably all evening, but I didn't feel it. But now with this beat and feeling the fuller here, feeling those things, I'm experiencing those things. My identity is beginning to change. I'm not Bobby of the Doldrums. I'm Robert, potentially a Nadeau, getting ready to eat dinner, function, whatever. Stop me before I go crazy here. I think I covered the main things. Okay, another one I used to use in my kitchen because elongated, right? And for some reason I started walking 3-4 steps forward and then walking backwards 3-4 steps. And of course, at first, the backward walk was a little strange. But for some reason, I don't remember why. It was just way back, way back. I like doing that, so I continued with it. I'd get to, and pretty quick after a couple of minutes, where the walking backwards 4 steps felt about as comfortable as the walking forward 4 steps. Not quite, but pretty damn close. Then I'd stop and say something like, okay, what? And when it first happened, it like sort of caught me by surprise. There was such a strong center there. I was strongly centered. And it really was quite a strong center. I was used to being centered, played with that. But to walk back and forth and suddenly be centered, heavy duty, it kind of caught me by surprise the first time. So again, see, the beat of back and forth and back. Okay, enough. Who am I in this case? Ooh, the centered one. The obvious is, oh, I'm a guy who walks better. Yeah. But let's go a bit deeper. Who am I really here? Oh, I'm centered. Okay, and then you could add to that. And what does the center one do in the world? What's his relationship with the world? Okay, or hang out more with just being the centered one. What do you feel about yourself? What's your thought process as the centered one? What's your view of things as the centered one? And then you could also relate it now as the centered one. How's the world? What's my sense of the world around me, kind of thing? That's a stupid thing, walking back and forth 4 steps. Sweet Jesus. Okay, so you can take, I can say anything stupid as long as it's like has a back and forth or an up and down or a 2-beat sense to it. Find the one that you like, and eventually you get bored with that one. There'll be another one. Go gonging, gong. What's interesting with gonging? I was talking to Deja. Gong. Now the reverse beat is a quiet beat. That's interesting. Okay. But I sense imagine, yes, it gonged out and its return is quiet. Gong. And its return is as full. It's covering the same territory, but it's quiet. Okay. So its partner is kind of like an invisible one or not so audible one. But again, the same thing after a while would be like, you don't just keep gonging the gong. Who are you? Who am I? and using that as a doorway to the next finer dimension of things. And on and on and on. So all the forms that are out there, the chanting, the gonging, the breathing, the jumping through hoops, I don't give a shit. Use them. Know what you're doing with them. And don't forget that critical better character you, and it's a doorway to a finer dimension next to you. I'm pooping out here. Talk to me. I think I've said my main piece. Talk to me.
Well, I was gonna say, this is Justin. I've seen this manifest in the center that I work with different types of clients that have different types of challenges, and their characters become refined using this approach. Fascinating. But I really want to highlight something that you said earlier. It's a holistic process. There's a refinement that's physical, emotional, mental, social, situational. You said functional. And it's all of that across the board. And we notice something that might be a physical right away when I'm breathing, but there are emotional, mental, social changes that are happening across the board that we may not notice, but they're no less relevant.
Yeah.
They'll be there.
That's why I tried to bring those out and notice them by saying, okay, you feel like you're a better character. Okay, well, let's check what's your view of the world as a better character. Do you see things different? Stuff like that. But I like the way you said it, the way you brought in all of those 5 were there. All of those are there on this basic practice, not just physical capability, but all the ones that you said. Say them again.
There's physical, emotional, mental, social, situational. You've mentioned spiritual, energetic, how we relate to our environment. It's across everything.
Everything.
We notice a couple that might be obvious, like breathing. We're settle, open, something, but there are all kinds of changes happening simultaneously that might be just more subtle, but they're no less real in how they'll manifest themselves in terms of what your character is capable of.
And as your sensing gets finer, hopefully through dimensional finer and finer, your sensing gets finer. You pick up those changes of whichever part of your system, emotional or whatever, you pick those up sooner. They're clearer to you at that level. So yeah, thank you for that. I like the way you worded that. Somebody, we're heading towards the end here.
Sensei, it's Gina.
Hey, Gina.
You taught me that walking back and forth about 100 years ago, and I still use it if I'm doing a play backstage, to do that back and forth walk and then go on. It's just it's
backstage in the theater. It wouldn't be unusual to see whatever the actress, the singer, whatever.
Rather than sitting in the lotus and meditating, it's really good to be able to just walk and nobody notices what you're doing.
Yeah. But it's worked for you, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see. Lauren, have we mentioned we're taking this is it for December? You get a nice break. What you should do, though, if you have any questions about something, maybe I can answer. So feel free. What do we do before, Lauren? Did they send them to your site and you send them to me or something?
That's right. They sent them to me. So if you'd like to do that, Sensei, over the holidays, I can send a notice out and solicit people to write.
Yeah.
And there'll be no class until January.
January 5th.
January 5th.
Yeah.
And so
you've got time to ponder all the great layout that we've been doing. And again, see if you have any questions or particular insights or experiences that were great for you. Like Gina's saying, walking back and forth works every time. Wow. Oh, cool. Nice to hear that. Nice to pass it on to other people.
And so I'll send out email to everybody and solicit comments And before we go tonight, I'd like to say it's December 1st, which starts the holiday giving season, and all gifts to Nadeau Sensei would be greatly appreciated at this as we enter the month of December. And so, the sensei's not supposed to ask for money himself. So I'm doing it for him. And so if you can, I've posted the links, the same as always, for making donations. They're voluntary, but they're very much appreciated. And they go to a good cause. And so with that, I'd like to thank Sensei for yet another. This is pretty much the third year, the third time we've come into the holidays with these online classes. And I want to thank everybody for sticking with it. And of course, I want to thank Sensei for,
And we'll see in January by our turnout if we'll continue.
And with that, I'm going to gong us out. So here we go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. Wonderful.
Thank you, Bob.
Class.
Thank you, and
Take care.
everyone.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Lauren and
Be
Tisha.
safe.
Yeah,
and
thanks,
all
Lauren.
the
Safe out there.
tech people.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sensei.
very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful year end. See you in the new year.
Thank you.